If you want the New Orleans Saints to get back on track and take down the Denver Broncos on Thursday Night Football, I need you to do one thing for me, Who Dat Nation. That's like today's video. During our watch parties, we're always sitting here saying, hey, like the video for a first down, like the video for an interception, like the video to get a touchdown. And every single time on game day, it works. Don't believe me? Hit the thumbs up icon and tune in to our watch party Thursday night, and I guess you'll find out for yourself. Today's video is all about my Saints versus Broncos Thursday Night Football matchup, as this is going to be not necessarily a super high game with massive implications like playoff seeding or anything, but it is an emotional game as Drew Brees is going to be honored. Sean Payton, he returns to the Superdome for the first time since retiring or quitting or leaving, whatever you want to call it. But that is what's going down Thursday Night Football. And I'm going to give you all the keys to victory information you need to know for both squads. But I wouldn't be able to do it if it weren't for our friends over at Public Rec. I know you saw the shirt I'm rocking and were thinking, dang, Trizzy, that's a good looking top. And I can tell you, you can get it from Public Rec. Now, let's be real, guys. Wearing pants sucks. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric digging into your family jewels was necessary to go out and look put together? Well, I'm here to tell you that those days are finally over. For a limited time, our listeners here at Saints Now by Chat Sports get 20% off their entire order when you use code CHAT at publicrec.com. That's 20% off your order at publicrec.com with promo code CHAT. Now, I've been looking to get some new clothes to upgrade my wardrobe, and I'm going to keep it real with you fellas. My girlfriend, Maddie, big fan of these shirts, big fan of the pants. She loves how they make me look, and I'll tell you what, maybe I look a little bit better than her when I'm rocking those Public Rec pants. They feel like sweatpants. They look like regular tailored dress pants. They are absolutely amazing. So stop the suffering in regular pants. And for a limited time, reminder, our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT. That's code CHAT at checkout. Look how fresh these pants look. We're rolling through some pictures. I mean, they look so clean. See, pull this one up right here. Look at the waistband. That ain't digging into your waist. That ain't digging into your family jewels. That's going to feel real comfortable all day, every day, no matter what. If you're on the links, if you're having a few drinks with the fellas, or if you're out on a hot date, I encourage you to get suited up and get dressed up with Public Rec. Friendly reminder, one last time. Use code CHAT to get 20% off at publicrec.com. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you have found Public Rec. And now you have also found the beginning of our Week 7 matchup, our Week 7 preview, Thursday Night Football. It is going down. My name ain't Kesha, but I am yelling timber. The New Orleans Saints, they are actually favorites in this ball game, which, you know, I will say kind of interesting considering the Broncos have a better record, considering the Broncos are a lot less beat up, but it is a home game, so you're going to get a few points your direction no matter what. Just to recap, I hate that we have to rehash this. Yeah, that Bucs game was not fun. I hated every minute of that. I was not a happy camper. The second quarter was awesome. Second quarter was so much fun. The first quarter, halftime, the third and the fourth quarter. Not fun. The Saints gave up almost 600 total yards of offense. It's the best that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have ever had in a single game. It was unbelievable. The Saints collapsed like I've never seen. Like, this needs to be studied by geniuses and experts everywhere, because going into halftime, the Saints were in the lead. And then all of a sudden, you lose 51-26. I just don't get it. I understand Spencer Rattler, it was his rookie debut. You're dealing with a lot of injuries. But how in the hell, when you have a defensive-minded head coach, do you give up 51 points? That hasn't happened yet. The Saints haven't given up 50 points or more since 2012 against the New York Giants. Just going to put that out there. Now, the Denver Broncos this past week, they lost to the Los Angeles Chargers. If you remember, Jim Harbaugh left and then returned. It was kind of a weird situation all there. But they actually didn't put points up on the board until about 10 minutes left into the fourth quarter. And so Bo Nix, he was under pressure all night long. Khalil Mack was getting after him. They actually only sacked him once, but 23 total pressures. What does that sound familiar? New Orleans Saints. Now, Pat Surtain, he did leave the game with a concussion, and we're going to talk about the injury report in just a moment. So just stand by if you're looking for the injury news. But let's take a look at how Denver and New Orleans stack up against each other. The Denver Broncos offense, it's not good. It's simply not. Statistically, they are one of the worst in the league. Their defense, though, yeah, that's a good squad right there. Number 4 in points per game, number 4 in yards per game, number 2 in yards per play. They're solid on third. I mean, not super solid on third down, to be honest. But they're better than the New Orleans Saints on third down. And on top of that, they're good in the red zone. Now, the New Orleans Saints, also good in the red zone. Not great on third down. Not great when it comes to yards per play. Not great when it comes to yards per game. Not great when it comes to points per game. The offense, on the other hand, when you started things off early this season, I will tell you right now, the points per game and yards per game, you should not look at those numbers too seriously because most of that came in those first 2 weeks. So, you know, it's been frustrating. I will give credit to New Orleans. They have been good on third down all season. So if you can win on third down, I think it's a big key to victory for New Orleans. And in the red zone, you have to score and you have to stop the other team from scoring as well. Now, looking at the injury report, this is not a joke. This is not a meme. This is not a lie. This is the injury report. So obviously everything moves up a day because the New Orleans Saints are playing, or it moves up a couple days actually, because the New Orleans Saints are playing on Thursday Night Football. So on Monday it was a estimated walkthrough injury report. So obviously things could change here on the injury report, but I'm counting a lot of players on the New Orleans Saints side of things. I'm not counting that many when it comes to the Denver Broncos. Like I mentioned earlier, Pat Surtain, he would not have practiced in the walkthrough in the estimated injury report with the concussion. Chris Olave is in concussion protocol as well. He would not have practiced. Same with Rashid Shaheed. There is actually concern that he could be missing some serious time. So we're going to keep you guys updated. If there's any injury updates around Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, be sure to subscribe and we'll keep you informed because we're giving you live shows every single week, multiple live shows a week actually, and daily videos around news, rumors, all sorts of crazy stuff. So be sure to lock us in and subscribe today. And, you know, I love you, Seeps. I love the guy who's clicking the buttons for me right now. He's one of my best friends at this office. But not even 6 months ago, we had like 2,000 more subscribers than Vikings now. So credit to Patrick Seatman for busting his ass and making his Vikings YouTube channel one of the fastest growing in all of sports. We're still on top, and we got to stay on top, Saints fans. I need your help. Do not let Vikings Now take over Saints Now. I passed them when I took over this channel. I can't let Patrick Seatman take over once again. So help a brother out and subscribe right now. So coming up, we got some keys to victory. We're going to talk about 4 ways. I have a bonus. I always give a bonus. So technically 5 ways how New Orleans Saints can get back on track and get a win. Because quite frankly, since those first 2 weeks, this team has sucked. Just straight up has been bad. Let's get back to the basics here. Coach Kent Murphy, let's break this down from a fundamental standpoint. I really didn't think that we'd have to do this, Seeps. I mean, this is a professional football team. Let's learn how to tackle. So, really quick, we all remember growing up, Pop Warner leagues, Pee Wee leagues, whatever you want to call them. My coach, he said, you wrap them up, you pick them up, and you take them down. You don't hit them. You don't push them. You don't just run into them. Sure, big play on ESPN. Sure, maybe you get a highlight. Or you let Chris Godwin rip a 54-yard touchdown off of a screen pass to a flat that was just a check down. Saints have to get better at tackling. PFF, according to them, they are one of the worst when it comes to tackles. Like, oh my goodness, they are 8th. They're tied for 8th in missed tackles this season. They have 56 missed tackles. Ladies and gentlemen, that is unbelievable. That is terrible at this point in the season. They are number 8 in missed tackles per game. They're almost having 10 missed tackles per game. Last week against Tampa Bay, I watched one play where one of their players, I want to say it was Sean Tucker, maybe Chris Godwin, one of their offensive players broke 5 tackles in one play. Unacceptable. This is the National Football League. And you're also taking on a head coach, which no one is more familiar with than the black and gold. You know Sean Payton's going to attack weak spots. You know he's going to look to exploit weaknesses and holes on the roster. You have to wrap up. You have to get tackles. You can't let ridiculous, random breakaway plays happen. Sure, maybe every once in a while, one will happen. You can't stop it every single time. But what you can do is when you give up a play, wrap the freaking ball carrier up and end the damn play. That's what you have to do. Get back to the basics and learn to freaking tackle. It's just ridiculous that that's where we're at this point in the season. And with just National Football League. I don't get it. But you know what I also think we need to do is lean on the running backs. And I didn't specifically say Alvin Kamara for a reason. I think that Alvin Kamara this year has been stellar. 7 total touchdowns, 6 on the ground, 1 through the air, 428 yards on the ground, 238 in the air. He's averaging about 8 yards per catch and a little over 4 yards per carry right now. Like, Alvin Kamara's been good this year. I'm also going to say this. You can't expect Alvin Kamara to take every single play. You can't give the ball to him every single time because, one, wear and tear, just plain and simple. You can't let that happen. And two, the defense figures it out. They figure it out. And Kendre Miller, what's the future here? Because he is expected to play. What does it look like with the future of Kendre Miller? If he can step up and be a good football player, then I truly do believe you have a much better offensive unit than what you thought you had because he brings reinforcements, he adds depth, he adds playmaking ability, and you have to take, like I said, some of the wear and tear off of Alvin Kamara. He's a great football player. Alvin Kamara has proven that he is a tough guy. But Kendre Miller is young. He has no tread on the tires worn down yet. He has nothing but ability, nothing but things to prove. So for Kendre Miller, 25 specifically, I want to see him be a very active part of the game plan because what if Taysom Hill isn't available? If he's not available, he was a limited participant on the Monday designation for the walkthrough, again, on the injury report. Again, it's an estimated injury report, so that's all we have at the time of filming this video, Tuesday morning, bright and early. But here we are. Taysom Hill, maybe that's another option, can give you some reinforcements, and we all know that the New Orleans Saints are a much better team when Taysom Hill is active. So there's a few options in terms of running the ground or running the ball. Who you got, though? Let me know. I want to hear who you think is going to win this football game. I want to see a ton of S's. I don't want to see a single B for the Denver Broncos. I want to see a ton of S's down below. And if you think that the Saints are going to win and get back on track, also throw me a hoot at in the comment section. All righty. So Bub Means. Let's have a conversation here. We need a breakout from him. Plain and simple. You need a breakout. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, they both have an asterisk next to their name because they are listed as non-participants on the injury report. So there's no promise that either of them will be good to go. And I'm going to keep it real with you. I wouldn't rush either of these players back for this game. If I'm Dennis Allen, I'm not rushing them back. I need them for the rest of the season. I don't need them for a Thursday night game against the Denver Broncos. This doesn't have any implications or have any sort of weight in terms of hurting us or helping us. Like, come on, I'm not doing it. But when Mason Tipton, Bub Means, and Cedric Wilson are your only 3 wide receivers available, you have to lean on your young talent. And I'm going to say this right now. I love what I saw from Mason Tipton in the preseason. I love what I've seen from him in what I've heard about him in training camp. But he has not been that great this year to start off. And Bub Means, we were actually having a conversation. So fun fact. Patrick Seatman and I were having a conversation before we started filming this video. He goes, what the hell is Michael Thomas doing? Where has he been? Like, why is he not with the Saints? Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I've shown this graphic before, and it will ruffle some feathers, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Bub Means, according to the scouting profile and according to the relative athletic score, he is faster, more explosive, more athletic than Michael Thomas. So in my opinion, it comes down to using Bub Means in a similar way as Michael Thomas. Throw him over the middle. Let him run slants. Put him in open space. Give him and let him be a safety blanket for Spencer Rattler. And this is a bonus one for me too because it's not just the wide receivers. We showed you the depth chart. Your 3 receivers right now on the roster are going to be Cedric Wilson, Bub Means, and Mason Tipton. You also have Equanimous St. Brown. You have Kevin Austin Jr. And you have Jermaine Jackson as well in the practice squad. So expect those guys to be elevated as well. But the tight ends, they've been underutilized. And more times than not, when you've called on the tight ends to make a play, they've done it. They've been good. The tight end position needs to be much more utilized in New Orleans, and I think that will not only help out Spencer Rattler, but it'll help out the offense entirely, because then it makes the defense have to take into account whichever player is lined up at the tight end position. So, I wanted to just ask this question, kind of an off the wall one, not really necessarily to do with like keys to victory or anything, but this is kind of a hot topic on the Twitter sphere and on the interwebs, if you will. What are you going to do when Sean Payton walks into the Dome? Cheer or boo? I'm kind of in the camp of I'm going to cheer for him, man. Call me a fake fan all you want. I am not a fake fan. If you're booing him, I'm going to keep it real with you. It kind of just feels like you're salty about an ex-girlfriend. He left like years and years ago. At this point, 3 years ago, Seeps? Like, it's just one of those things, man. We are in a completely new phase of life. He's in a completely new phase of life. Move on, get over it. He won us a Super Bowl. Whatever. I'm going to cheer for him. Maybe not even cheer for him, but I'm not going to boo him. I'm not going to boo him. Call me a fake fan all you want. Type F Trizzy. I don't really care, but I'm in the camp of he helped for a while. He was good for a while. At the end of the day, he's moved on. We've moved on. Let's not act like middle school relationship, and let's be cordial about all this. Now, last key to victory is you have to, a couple more Seeps, have to protect Spencer Rattler. In his rookie debut, he was under a lot of pressure. Not Denver Broncos, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did a phenomenal job of putting pressure on Spencer Rattler, making him think frantically, making him have to make plays and extend plays and play out of structure and play off script. Like, that is a smart thing to do when you're playing against a rookie quarterback. His passer rating, not all that great. He took 5 total sacks during the game. And obviously losing Chris Olave, it was no help. He was supposed to be a big part of the game plan for Spencer Rattler. And I'll just say this. If you think that Spencer Rattler sucked, no, he didn't. No. He was not amazing. I will not say that. He was not an incredible quarterback. But he didn't suck by any means. One of those interceptions was in garbage time when you're down by 20 anyway, trying to make something happen. Certainly some bad throws, certainly some bad decisions, certainly held on the ball too long at times. But this Denver Broncos pass rush is going to do just what Tampa Bay did. They know the recipe to make Spencer Rattler not play well. So look at Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, and Justin Stranad to really make Spencer Rattler's life hell. So these 5 guys in the trenches are going to have to step up. I got to just say, shout out to Trevor Penning. Last week, he was the highest graded PFF, had the highest PFF grade across the New Orleans Saints against Tampa Bay. He hasn't been a liability this year. So credit to Penning. But this O-line is very beat up. In terms of your starters, the only 2 you have on the O-line, and when you went to week 1, are Taliese Fuaga, Trevor Penning. So, again, I'm going to go back to Spencer Rattler here. When he's out of structure and when he has to make plays and he has to be productive, not in the pocket, he's okay. He was actually pretty good. He was one of the best Saints quarterbacks in the recent history outside of the pocket. He was 7 for 12 for 111 yards. I like that a lot out of him. Maybe you got a game plan for that more. Maybe you have to understand this is a bad offensive line. They're going to come after Spencer Rattler. You got to get him on the move and make it happen so that way he can at least have some time to make a play. That's just a thought. Next-gen stats, they don't lie, and I'll tell you right now, I am nervous for this game, but I do have confidence that the New Orleans Saints will win. So a little kind of contradictory take right there. But, again, this is just one of those things where it's like I'm not going to lose sleep if the New Orleans Saints lose because they are in a really bad spot, very banged up, rookie quarterback. Like, this is not a good spot for New Orleans to be in. But I also will say this, if they can find a way to win, if Dennis Allen can find a way to take down the Denver Broncos, it'll be huge for this team. So predict a score for me. I think I'm going to have the Saints winning. I didn't even think about this. I'm going to take the Saints win 24-21. That's what I'm going to go. 24-21, close game. Sean Payton's homecoming, Drew Brees' ceremony. So we're going to be live Thursday Night Football an hour 15 before kickoff. I'll see you guys there. Y'all stay golden. We will see you next time.